Hi, everyone. I wanted to take a moment this evening just sort of to address a major development in the Israel Gaza war. What had been reported over the last week or so that the United States had halted a specific shipment of offensive weapons to Israel was confirmed, I guess, earlier this evening by President Biden in an interview. And I wanted to unpack a little bit about what this does and does not mean specifically, because I know that the noise around this news on any side is sort of immense, and I want to make sure that we all have very specific and very clear information. So, what exactly does this mean? First of all, let's understand what this shipment was. It was to include 1,800 2,000 pound bombs and 1,700 500 pound bombs. And a lot of the concern with especially the 2,000 pound bombs was the level of damage that they could do in such a heavily and densely populated area as Rafah. So, what does this mean? The United States had long opposed Israel's promised attack on Rafah. Prime Minister Netanyahu had said for weeks this was coming, and so the United States had worked behind the scenes sort of tirelessly to try to convince the Prime Minister that this was not necessary. What I will say, and what President Biden said earlier today, is that Israel had stopped just across the border at Rafah, sort of on the other side of the Rafah crossing, which meant that they had not crossed what the president termed his red line. And he was very clear in reaffirming that none of this impacted the United States' support for Israel's right to defend itself and providing defensive weaponry and, of course, the Iron Dome. So the response has been immense and sort of out of proportion for what this actually means. First of all, a lot of the extremely pro-Israel advocacy organizations like AIPAC have sort of accused the president of abandoning Israel. While, as you might expect, the progressive left, especially here in the United States, has cheered this development. So what should you think about it? First of all, it's important to note this is not the first time this has happened. And in 1992, the President of the United States, George H.W. Bush, who it's important to remember is or was not a Democrat, was definitely a Republican, used the same kind of leverage to prevent the then Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir from resettling refugees from the collapsed Soviet Union into settlements in the West Bank, which, according to the United States at the time, were illegal. So we want to make sure that we understand this is not the first time. This is not an unprecedented event. Second of all, I think it's important to note that the President of the United States in an election year is concerned about, especially Michigan, a swing state here that has a large Muslim population. I will say, now this is my editorializing here at the end, that this does not need to be the kind of major issue that I think a lot of people, especially those who we might term to be perpetually online, are making it out to be. This is something that is fixable. The delivery is, in fact, just paused. It is not canceled. And so I believe that this is the kind of thing that will blow over. It's not something to be blown entirely out of proportion. Hope you have a good evening. You can certainly ask me any questions you would like. Take care.